Call the meeting to order. Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Colby, roll call.
Councilor Eater,
Here.
Councilor Wall. Here. Councilor Escoda,
Here.
Councilor Donahue. Here. Councilor Ott,
Here.
Councilor Hofer.
Here.
Mayor Black.
Here. Okay. Colby, anything under presentation? Yes, announcements?
No, I did not receive anything from anybody that wanted to speak.
Okay. And then correspondence, we got 2 letters. Third one is more of an advertisement, so I'm not gonna cover it, but a letter from Christy Stokely, Touch of Barbaria. Any comments? It was in the same line as what we heard at the July meeting, feeling that the city was not doing our job when it comes to supporting the businesses. Again, I'm sure everybody's had a chance to read it. It'll be part of the record. So I don't believe she's here tonight. So again, no comments. We'll move on. And then Ray's agreed to read the letter from Engelberg. The German version. We have been invited. They canceled the 2020 Sister City event or their celebration, and we've been invited to the 2022 a year from yesterday, looks like, or that'd be part of that celebration, 30th to August 1st. So Pete said he'd go. Matt would chaperone, so. And I don't trust anybody else, so. But anyway, I know you guys read this. It's pretty neat that we have that relationship. Hopefully someday we'll meet those people and speak to them in German, right?
And for a lot of beer.
Okay, number 6, appearance of interested citizens.
I just retired,
You're just interested.
I just come and watch how things go out here, because I moved in from Salem and this is my retirement home.
Well, thank you
and
for
see what I
coming.
can do to learn.
Appreciate it.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Ron Campworth,
Campler?
pure German. I didn't know that when I bought the property. I'm from the Midwest, dairy farmer, son. And so I joined in the 80s, served 4 years, and was a retail store manager for about 20-some years, and decided to move to Mount Angel, thinking it would be safe out here compared to Salem and Portland.
Well, welcome aboard.
So what street do you live on?
970 Grant Street. So the housing development, right?
Is that be up Spruce and up that direction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mount what, Mary Hill?
Mary Hill, okay.
Again, welcome aboard. Appreciate you coming.
Plan to come each month if I'm right.
Well, if you're here often enough, you'll be volunteered to do something.
Retired, so, okay.
But you can always say no. Let's see, next is review of accounts payable, quarterly financial report. Anybody had any comments or questions? We take more in than we spend, so that's always good.
So one of the questions, well, I'll
for Alan, but I saw that we haven't spent any money from the stormwater fund yet, and I know there's a lot of stormwater lines and stuff out there that are in dire need of repair. I don't know, you guys have anything planned for that, Alan, or?
Yes, that's a question for me.
Oh, okay.
As part of our capital improvement plan, the mayor does want to call an infrastructure task force meeting in the fall. So at that point, we'll prioritize infrastructure projects like that. So if the council has one in mind, that would be a great time to have that conversation, I believe.
Answer your question, Tony?
Yes, it does,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Consent agenda, minutes from July 6th meeting.
I have one minor correction.
Okay,
It's in the packet on page 15. Talking about the master fee schedule and I said the word accept and it should have been exempt. So
okay.
there will be done.
Good catch.
So exempt. Okay. Anything else there, Pete?
No.
Okay,
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
okay.
No, second.
And Tony, okay. So we've got a motion to accept the consent agenda as corrected and a second by Tony.
Counselor Hofer,
Aye.
Counselor Eager,
Aye.
Counselor Wall,
Aye.
Counselor Astoria,
Aye.
Counselor Donahue,
Aye.
Counselor Ott,
Aye.
Mayor Plett.
Aye. Okay, next item, 9 unfinished business. Humbert Towers Lane crosswalk study. And we're looking at, looks like page 19.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this agenda item is like a bad penny, keeps on showing up, right? So I think this is the third time we presented this to the council for your review. I did split the agenda item into 2 different agenda items. So the Humbert Towers Lane crosswalk study, there is a scope of work included in the packet. If the council authorizes staff to sign that contract, we'll bring back some recommendations to you for your consideration. I would think it would take probably 6 to 8 weeks to get that back to you. So it is ready for your approval. I can sign it first thing tomorrow morning if you approve.
Okay, comments?
Kevin, I have a question.
Yeah.
When we were planning on meeting with the county, and that area is obviously a county road coming into a city road.
Right.
And I was hoping at that meeting, we could do a little bit of convincing to the county commissioners to assist us on that. So you mentioned it to me a week or so ago.
Yeah, so I did have a conversation with Commissioner Kevin Cameron, but more directly about the building codes program, which is a separate issue. The public works director was supposed to call me, that has not happened. So I'm gonna have to reach out to that person and start a conversation about who wants to assign on this team to look at that intersection. It may be Janelle Shanahan, she's also our contact for the St. Francis School Program. But I'll leave that up to their hands to assign the appropriate staff person to us. But I have a feeling that that's what's probably gonna happen.
Is there anything we can do, our hands tied, and we have to get permission, for a better word, to do something out there?
So the reason I'm advocating for the study is because we got, as Council President Pete just mentioned, we've got 2 jurisdictions involved. We have a slope issue, so we have a site distance issue. And then we have a crosswalk that pretty much goes nowhere in terms of the sidewalk to sidewalk. So we have a lack of infrastructure too. So
All of those things leads me to believe that we really do need a study to understand what our best options are, and I think it's money well spent. I do not want to put one of our new pylon signs up there and create more problems than it solves without a traffic engineer sort of blessing that and giving us that recommendation. I'd be very concerned about us taking action without some sort of backing with it.
So this money is gonna tell us to study what we can and can't do.
That is correct. It's gonna give us what our options are, probably from least cost to the most cost. Most cost being like a rapid flashing beacon, which you kind of see driving around all around Salem and Portland and other areas. There's actually in Silverton now across the highway. That's obviously a much more expensive option to better striping and better signage.
And the one thing about this intersection, and Chief, I think you can back me up on this, it's just getting busier and busier and busier because of the housing that's going in out there, the age of the people and the walks that they're on every day. This is going to be a problem if we don't do something with it.
Mayor, if I may. Yes,
Absolutely.
I sat there this morning, actually, and I think just for my presence helped some folks get across the road. Because otherwise they were on the other side and they were looking both ways and I could tell that they were nervous. And I just sat there, made sure that they got across just fine, said good morning. Off they went, one went down Humphrey, the other one went up the alley. But yeah, it is a hazardous intersection, especially the way that the sidewalk or the path comes down from the Abbey on that one side. Doesn't, like the city manager said, it doesn't meet up and there's not a good crosswalk there. In fact, the stop bar is back away from the intersection. In order for you to see, you've got to get past the stop bar where the stop sign is on Humphrey. So I think a study is a good thing because, quite honestly, if we do some type of traffic control change there, we don't use the backing of a study or use some engineer power behind it, I think we stand a pretty good chance of being sued. As a result of a crash or something that happens there, especially if we do make some type of engineering change up there without being, at least consulting somebody first.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
So if you can hear me, any traffic study and anything we deem that we want to do from the traffic study will still have to be approved by the county before we move forward.
There's an assumption that moving forward, we're gonna have to include the county if it's on the city limits. So if it affects the county side, whether it's signage or some type of improvement, there's gonna have to be some coordination with the county. I think that was to Council President Pete's suggestion, is that we reach out to them.
And I think it'd be wise to bring the county in.
Absolutely.
Just because it all happens right there.
Does that mean that we will also share resources? I mean, as far as costs?
We haven't had that conversation, you're gonna put a certain.
There's the stinginess in me is already saying, all right, let's go Dutch on that.
But I had mixed emotions about this, but I think if we are going to approach the county to work on this issue together, because we need to work on it together. If we have a study by a qualified traffic engineer, we have much better ammunition to discuss it with better facts than we would if we don't do it. So I'm going to support doing this.
It lends a lot of credibility to whatever effort we end up doing.
Any other comments? If not, looking for some sort of motion.
I move to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with DKS Traffic Engineering.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion from Councilor Astorga and a second by Councilor Hofer.
Counselor Ott,
Aye.
Counselor Hofer,
Aye.
Counselor Eater,
Aye.
Counselor Wall, Counselor Astorga,
Aye.
Counselor Donahue,
Aye.
Mayor Slaughter.
Aye. Okay, thank you. The next issue, number 9, unfinished business B, report on speed reader board research. And is that,
So I'm gonna defer to Chief on this one.
Well, I know that that was attached, if you will, the second half of the deal that we didn't do last council meeting. And I said I was definitely looking into these speed readers and the trailers and that type of thing. So I've done my research. I had placed in my budget $13,000 to buy a speed trailer. And done my research and in fact, especially after the ice storm and all the other issues that we've had in the last year, you know, and the challenges we've had with communication, we've had a number of those conversations right here. I thought the best thing for us to do is find a variable message trailer that does both messaging and speed calculation. I found one of those. It's manufactured by Stalker Radar. It does come in a little bit above what I had budgeted for. But I think since it goes both for public safety on the traffic safety as well as the emergency management side, I think I could find the room in my budget to make it go and give us a variable message trailer that we can use for a lot of different things as opposed to just a speed trailer. I did find some really good prices on just the speed trailer alone if we wanted to go that route. For about half, a little less than half the price of the speed trailer that I want to get. And then, of course, I did quite a bit of research on the speed signs that we talked about. You know, Councilor Wall, you talked about the fact that you were leaning more towards a trailer as opposed to a sign that we'd actually have to physically move, take down, and move from place to place. And the solar powered signs run, you know, everything from about $2,900 to about $8,000 a piece, depending on the brand and who you really want to go for. And then warranty has a lot to do with that too. So I know for my money and my budget, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a Stalker trailer that we're going to be able to use for both speed, so that we can educate the public about their speed, try and get them to slow down, but then also use it to get messaging out there. So if the council would like to move ahead with something else, certainly open to it. But you know, quite honestly, I'd rather spend the money on a second trailer so that we have 2 of those message board trailers so that we could warn folks about construction projects that are happening and changes in the town, or even a meeting that's going on, or during an emergency situation in the community, where to go get water or where to go get your, you know, gasoline or something like that, or how to get additional messages. So that would be my recommendation, that we actually use something that, or we purchase something that can be used for multiple areas. And I think, especially a variable message speed trailer works really well for the police department, public works, emergency management, and anybody else.
that's what I heard last meeting, so.
What was, what did the total tariff on that one come out to be?
So on the trailer that I'm talking about is it's on state contract.
Okay.
It's $16,809.
That's
17.
17 grand.
three something, okay, over what you budgeted, okay.
Yeah. And I've got 13,000 that I budgeted for, but I'm sure, especially after looking at last year's budget where I only used 83% of my budget, I think I could probably find somewhere in there where it's a pretty important thing. But if we wanted to go into contingency or reserves and purchase an additional one so that we had 2, you know, that'd be great. But if we want to wait a year, that'd be okay too.
Will the price change if we wait?
Certainly.
And I'm not talking about a year, but I'm talking about try this one out and see if we need to.
Well, these I've got a pretty good relationship, especially with this company, Stalker Radar. I purchased a Stalker radar trailer from them before. And they're a good company. In fact, I got the original quotes for these trailers back in April, and they honored the price to this day. So they've been very good to work with. But it is a state contract price, and I know that, you know, the new state contract pricing has just come out, so they're gonna honor whatever they told me. But I'm certain that it's probably gonna go up, but by how much, I can't possibly sure.
Okay, is that consensus, or do we need a vote of council for that?
I just want to let you know what I'm doing in my budget, and if there was anything that council wanted to do, then now you have the information and can make a decision to move forward on something else completely independent to something that I'm doing in my budget.
I'm just wondering if there's maybe some FEMA money available for it. Maybe
So-
a grant for it. I mean, I know that'll take more time.
There really isn't any FEMA money for it, and the money that we could have used to buy a bunch of these would have come from the CARES Act. And I'm not sure under the American Rescue Plan that is just now coming out, that we're gonna be getting some of that money for. Some of the salesmen were telling me that I might be able to use some of that money, you know, some of that money on some of this, but I don't know enough about that yet to even make a bad educated guess. So I would want to learn a little bit more. Traffic grants have not completely returned like they had in the past. You know, but I haven't seen a grant for one of these trailers in quite a while. The one that we borrowed, the trailer that we borrowed from the city of Hubbard, they did get that on a grant through the police academy, actually. And they've had leadership changes at the police academy, and so we're still not sure what kind of money is going to be coming out of there. So I've got my eyes open, but it's not raining money like it is necessarily up in the Portland metro area for a lot of causes.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
I think it's a great idea, but I know, just going through the city of Jervis, those signs do get your attention.
They do.
They do. I mean, it's like you're seeing come down and pretty soon you hit the brakes and you're in compliance, but they do get your attention.
You are?
Yeah. Trust me.
Get it right away.
Which one would you like me to get?
How big is it?
That's a good one.
So the variable message trailer has about a 3 foot by 6 foot. So a little bit bigger than what you normally see, you know. Normal one is probably anywhere between 18 and 24 inches. So this is big enough so that you can do 3 lines of characters and get a pretty decent message on there, get it rotating, so.
I do like the idea of more than just the speed, you can do other things. So is it both sides or one side?
It's one side.
One side.
One side. Yep, and take some folding and stuff to get it so you can move down the road, but this is a very, very good product. They stand behind what they do. In the majority of the larger, I'll say the larger police agencies, this is the kind of product that they get. It's a blue trailer and a black screen. So if you've ever seen those in any of your driving around, it seems to be a much more predominant thing, maybe even up in the metro area, but yeah, it's a good thing.
So do you just secure it in any way or in case somebody has an idea to get rid of it?
Well, you can actually, you can actually disable the tongue. On some of them, you can actually take the tongue off. And then use certainly wheel locks and whatever else so that they can't go anywhere.
Okay, good.
Then it also levels, so you can actually lift the wheels off the ground if you want to take the wheels off. It's really good. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. So any other comments? If not, we'll move on to new business. Right-of-way ordinance 769.
Yes, so the next 2 items, Mayor, are for review only, their draft. Both Both are draft forms, allow the public to review them as well as the council. Based on your comments and direction, we can bring those back to your meeting in September. So the first one is the right-of-way ordinance. We had a work session on this, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago. We had a presentation from Comcast. Comcast is still interested in doing business with the city, but I thought it was important to get the right-of-way ordinance on the books first, since our current right-of-way ordinance is lacking. I've been working with David Reese from the city attorney's office. He's actually on Zoom tonight. He's here to answer any questions regarding the ordinance and the proposed language. With that, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. I'm gonna reach out to council and ask if you have any questions. I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you, I didn't get into a lot of detail reading this. This is a lot of work for me. Especially when they are written with the law in mind.
I have a question for David. So this is a template right-of-way ordinance that you use with other jurisdictions as well?
Thank you for the question, Counselor. Yes, it is based on a template. There's been a lot of work going on lately. So it's put a lot of effort into updating that template, but it is something that's been used in other jurisdictions.
Thank you.
And Kevin, if you could give me 1 or 2 reasons why this is important for us, you know?
Yeah, it comes down to leverage and us being able to negotiate with the various providers that use our right of way. Without that leverage, I can't really negotiate on your behalf. I am not in a good position to be able to negotiate. With this, I can control the time, place, and manner, and how the business is conducted within the city limits. So for me, it's about leverage.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions on that? For now? And then the nuisance code, ordinance 770.
Yep, so Chief and I presented this to you in the work session a couple months ago as well. We have not made any substantial changes. We're not hearing comments from the public or council. But tonight is another opportunity to provide some feedback. I know a lot of cities are actually considering RV parking ordinance because every city is experiencing the same issues right now. And the nuisance ordinance is just something that we've been probably have needed for quite a long time in terms of the common nuisance, derelict building, and other measures.
So again, Kevin, back to you.
Yep.
What is the most logical, positive reason to have this in place?
So for our police department, they need more tools to be able to address a lot of nuisances, and now we're making tremendous progress with our existing tools. But for us to really be able to get some of these harder issues, you have to have additional tools. So whether it's the RV parking issue, or if it's some of the vacant buildings in town, having just a dangerous building code at our disposal is not the most effective tool. Having a derelict building ordinance and a vacant building ordinance is a much more effective tool. At least in my experience in doing this for the last 25 years. The chronic ordinance provides us tools if a nuisance property is a repeat offender, we can go directly into a citation as opposed to going through a lot of paperwork in order to get to a citation. So Railroad Avenue is a classic example. We can go directly to a citation as opposed to having to go through every single step in order to get to that point. Now, citation is not the solution every time. There are other tools in our toolbox. but it does provide us a lot quicker way to address the issue than having to redo all the steps all over again. So if I had my druthers, I would absolutely advocate for the chronic nuisance ordinance above all else, just to address some of the problem properties over that. Because we've obviously spent quite a bit of time on railroad. We don't want to see that come back. Chief is doing a great job staying on top of that, but I want to give more tools to his staff and the rest of the staff to be able to get the job done.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Go for it, Pete.
There's something to consider. On the occupied camper section, and that's a problem, I get that. We have, it requires a permit for over 3 days. We have a festival that lasts 4 days. And then, I mean, if you, in the community, you know, people are not just here for only 4 days. So what I'm just wondering about administering it.
Right.
Would it be more effective to set out an exemption for those 4 days plus one on each end and not do a permit? Or would it be, I mean, in the middle of the festival, you don't want to be issuing, I don't think you want to be issuing permits. So is that something we would want to take a look at?
I'm gonna go first and I'll let Chief go. So for me, it's all about transfer room tax and trying to get that, now that we have it on the books. That was not part of the agreement that was approved by council the last go around. The agreement expires after this next event in September. And so that is absolutely critical. The council has that moving forward in the agreement that we collect transfer room taxes for any camping or RV camping. So I attack it from a revenue side and through that ordinance. If we have problem RVs who are up to some other things, then we have this on the books to address that issue. You see it differently, Chief?
No, not necessarily. I hadn't really considered the fiscal side of trying to gain revenue from the transient tax. I was looking at it mostly from the situation where people create a secondary residence and it becomes a complaint, issue for the neighbors. And it's not an auxiliary dwelling unit as is allowed in code, but it's something that somebody puts in their driveway, i.e. at 540 Railroad and or at 550 Railroad, which we are currently dealing with, where they have an RV and they're using it as a secondary residence or a third residence. And it's a problem and we're unable to address it, The 540 Railroad trailer moved from there to Angels Automotive and then eventually just north of town outside the city limits because we were doing our job and then it disappeared. So being able to address those early, especially those off property, off the street ones were their problem. We definitely need that tool. I'm not suggesting that everybody who comes during the Oktoberfest is going to be that problem RV, because we all know that they're going to, they'll park an RV on somebody's, backyard or maybe on the front yard, and they'll stay there for the course of the festival. Thank goodness they're not driving after drinking, and then they take off, and they go back to their home community. But we definitely, can exempt portions of time, or we can exempt festival like Oktoberfest has been exempt from the use of megaphones and sound amplification during the festival. But nobody else has been exempt from that, but during the Oktoberfest, they certainly are. So I think that there is some room, and of course, just like every other ordinance, the city manager has the ability to, waive, requirements of that type of thing. So I think there's a time and place for the ordinance, but I have not considered from the revenue standpoint.
I fully support, believe me, the 3 day limit under normal circumstances, because that gives you the tools you need, which is what you're asking for.
And just in the same way that, somebody might bring an RV to town and want to spend, a couple weeks with somebody. We can certainly make contact after 3 or 4 days and find out what's going on, and either direct them to go get a permit, or the city manager can make a decision that, yeah, we're not gonna worry about it because of these circumstances at that particular time.
Yeah, there's a difference between me posting someone based on a transaction, Airbnb, something like that, or HipCamp, which is another website platform out there, versus inviting my friend over to enjoy Oktoberfest. There's no exchange of money. So that's where you have to use discretion to determine how you apply the ordinance.
Well, a couple of things for me. Number one, I want more time to read it, and there's an option in here to do that. And number two, if it gives you the tools sheet to do your job, that we need that, but we need to have a heart. And I don't want the council chambers full of people mad because Granny's trailer was towed, that kind of thing. So give us some time to read it, come back, and if it gives you the tools you need, then we'll get right behind it.
Now, there is, I'm assuming, a case by case where you, as the chief of police, you have some leeway, or even the officers say, well, hey, grandma she can't physically move her car, and her grandson is 4 or 5 hours away and he can't come, right? So do we make exceptions to something like that? So there's some, do you have that power that, that to say, hey, we'll make, we'll work with you,
There's only a handful of laws on the books in this state that make me do anything. So we've got tremendous discretion.
Okay.
And my officers use tremendous discretion every day. And for example, the building burned down over here on the other side of the tracks. We have been dealing with that gentleman ever since that fire, and trying to give him grace to move his truck, his horse trailer, and his boat trailer out of the city and out of the city right away. We have stickered it, we have threatened, we have done all kinds of things. And we have actually even gone well beyond what we told him we were going to do as far as towing his stuff away. So we continue to exercise a lot of that discretion on a daily basis. If for no other reason, for the very reason that Mayor Fleck just alluded to, because it's the right thing to do, and we're trying to exercise and show a little heart and a little compassion. And by the way, compassion is one of our values that we hold very dear to our party.
You bet. Council, what's your pleasure? David, I'm not asking you if you have any comments, but if you do, please speak up.
Well, I believe that the police officers in Mount Angel and the police chief will definitely use discretion. I think there's definitely going to be a case by case implementation of this. I think we should give this tool to our officers and the police chief and let them use it.
Thank you. Have a couple of options there, or something else that you'd like to throw in.
I will move to continue the discussion at the next regular scheduled council meeting.
A motion by Councilor Eater,
Second.
second by Councilor Ott. And Colby, when you're ready.
Aye. Councilor Donahue?
Aye.
Councilor Ott?
Councilor Ott.
Oh, hi, sorry.
Councilor Hofer?
Aye.
Councilor Eater?
Aye.
Councilor Wall? Councilor Escoda?
Aye.
Mayor Fleck?
Aye. Okay. Excuse me, item 11, city manager's report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just, I just want to make sure the council is aware of all the great events we got going on in August, starting tomorrow night, or actually tomorrow afternoon, excuse me, with the National Night Out. Housing Authority is taking the lead this year. So from 3:30, it'll be folks here in downtown, so check it out. Our friends at the Mount Angel Historical Society, our partners, will be having an open house later this month. Then we've got 2 citywide events with our garage sale, and then the following weekend after that, our cleanup day, just in time for Oak Fest, which is in September. So we've got stuff happening pretty much almost every weekend in August, just every week. So we're really excited to see the town come alive, and hopefully folks take advantage of the garage sale and the cleanup day. And then I was chatting with some counselors about this before the meeting started, but the LLC registration is now open. It had some glitches in the system today, but it should be live tomorrow. If folks want staff to sign up, just let us know. We're happy to do that. That's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, city councilors. Pete, do you have anything on League of Oregon Cities or anything? I know you've been busy boy.
The weekly statewide meetings have ended because we're somewhat back to normal, so those aren't happening anymore. With the league, I do intend to go to the league this year. And I'm happy to report I had my trip to Hawaii and I have now physically been in all 50 states.
Awesome.
And all that proves is I'm damn old.
Okay. Any other comments from any of the counselors? If I don't call you by name, yeah.
There is a bottle drop place in Silverton in the Ross parking lot. Bottle Drop's super popular at the preschool. They give you bags, they give you a code, you drop off the bottles and then they keep an account for you and write you a check whenever you want to collect that money on those cans. So it's super easy.
So that would go to preschool?
Well, no, so you can do it as a personal family. You can go and they have green bags for personal bags, and then the businesses get blue ones. So at the preschool, over the course of 3 years, we've raised almost $1,000.
Sure.
Just from people giving us their cans and putting our stickers on it. But my thought was that container in Silverton is always exploding full, and it's really hard to go drop them off. Driving to South Salem to drop them off isn't very much fun either. So I was thinking about where we could stick one here in town. But I don't know what you have to, like they have it in a, I don't know, it's a big dumpster.
It's a Connex box, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how long I don't know how much space it needs to be, if there's some rule about where it could be, but I was thinking I might look into that.
Why don't
See
you?
if we could do that. I don't know where we would stick it.
Well, we'll figure a place out.
Figure a place
If you can
out.
get us some,
Because I feel like there's a lot of people in town, the kids always want collecting cans for projects and stuff
Sure.
at school for trips and whatever. Maybe we could make that a thing in town too. So I will look into it and I
Thank
will
you.
report back.
anybody else?
I got 3 items.
Thanks, Ray.
Flies.
Flies.
Flies. So maybe a question for Alan. Do all the flies on the west side of town come from the fur ranch or the treatment plant?
That's kind of a mean
Alan went to
question.
sleep, I think.
Since I
You're
live, I'll say the fur ranch.
Well, honestly, I don't know. I know we've noticed them a lot every year around this time. They are out at the wastewater plant, but I can't honestly tell you which place they're coming from.
In my experience, Ray, it's always been, they're filter flies that hang out at wastewater plants. And my mouth can tell you, I've swallowed a few in my years as a
So
wastewater
they could be
operator.
from the wastewater. plant?
It's not wastewater
It's
plants
not wastewater.
because they're actual flies. I'm saying filter flies are tiny, they're like gnats, they're really small. Those are the ones that are born in like the water at the wastewater plant, and they're everywhere. So actual
Ellen,
flies,
maybe you can come back next year with a fly tagging program in your budget.
I even tried Irish Spring, and somebody told me you put Irish Spring out by your door, but it doesn't help.
Doesn't help.
So you have them too then? You have them too
Oh,
then?
yeah, we all live
When they're bad.
at that development out there.
yeah, West Markham is bad too. If you live in West Markham.
Are they worse this year?
No,
Or just,
about the same. And it's horrible. They stand right by your entryway,
yeah,
you know, in your patio.
more
For
bad.
me, so every time you have guests coming in there, you're gonna fight through the flies. Things I try to bug zap or I try everything.
Okay, next question is, can somebody educate me on the crosswalk signs? Maybe I slept on this issue or how they came to be.
So they were sitting in the warehouse for 2 years, and we decided finally to put to intersections that the chief of police had recommended based on his enforcement activity and based on his field work.
Okay, thank God they're spring loaded.
I haven't seen anyone hit them yet.
I tapped with my arm to make sure it was spring loaded. Next thing is, can we do anything at the intersection of Lincoln Street and Church Street with that kind of bottleneck there?
What kind of bottleneck is it?
Well, you come up to the stop sign heading south and there isn't hardly enough room for two vehicles. There's always a vehicle parked across the street. There is some yellow curving there that goes to the next street to the north where which would be the burned out building. So is there any way we could curb that whole thing there yellow so nobody parks across the street
So
on the east side of the street?
it's 25
Because
feet.
two vehicles, somebody's gonna get an accident there because if you're going south on Lincoln and somebody's gonna turn and head north, there is not enough room for two vehicles if there's a vehicle parked on the east side. There's always vehicles parked on the west side. And part of that is curved yellow. I see that tonight. Is there any way we could curb the rest of that yellow?
I'll go out and look at it.
Yeah, and I don't know whose vehicle's there, if it's the neighbor across the street or
Yeah, there's
it's a bottleneck.
there's certain areas and the statute, and I was just looking at the statute, you know, because we were dealing with, East Markham and Main Street and looking at the yellow curving. In fact, they're gonna extend yellow curving there. But it really has to do with visibility. So I'll go out and take a look at it and see what we can do. And I'll get with Public Works and Alan and I will get our heads together.
Sure.
Figure it out.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Frank. Anybody else? David, anything?
Ray, if you haven't used Tempo, TEMPO for flies yet, try that.
I don't have a fly problem. It's the residents on Hay Street,
Northwest.
but thanks for the tip.
It works real well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll volunteer to try it.
Did we ever figure out if we got charged for that $810 charge from Republic Services a couple months ago?
Would not get charged.
We did not. Okay,
They waived, they ate all those costs related to that stuff.
because I think it was in the accounts payable. I remember we saw that.
Yeah, so that was the information that I got out to you, a couple weeks ago, was that I researched that and they in fact double checked with Republic Services. And so if the city spent any money, that was going to be refunded back to us.
Okay,
So that event was a complete zero cost, at least on Republic Services side.
all right.
Okay. Good with that?
Yes, sir.
I have one more. Are we getting a student counselor?
Are we what?
Are we gonna have a student counselor again?
I don't know. Haven't talked to them yet.
Since school wasn't really.
Yeah, I know Juliet is interested in starting it, but since she's out of school, and there's a new superintendent, I'll have to talk to the superintendent and the principal for the high school to see if they want to open up to other students. But I know Joliet is interested.
Just realized it's almost time for school and we don't have a student.
Don't remind me.
Meeting on August 18th with them, so I'll ask them. Okay, mayor's report, couple of things. Earlier Kevin talked about meeting with Kevin Cameron. He's trying to set up a meeting with the Public Works Director that will kind of meet into some of the other issues that we're dealing with right now. The crosswalks, the sewer line, couple of issues that we've been dealing with. Tomorrow, not a big deal for many people, but we have a Zoom meeting tomorrow. Chief's usually there. I'm reminding you tonight if you're gonna be there or not, but.
I have an emergency management meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
That I'd like to represent the city with Marion County. So
Absolutely.
if that's okay.
Absolutely. But the fire chief, superintendent, Abby's represented, Towers has been in the past. We haven't had, but a bunch of different people there. And then had an opportunity to have coffee with Rick Lewis, Representative Rick Lewis, and he said water is the place where money will be available this upcoming budget year. So he said, keep your ears out for water project and things that are happening. So
Can I add to that?
absolutely.
Did we partner up any money with Silverton?
They need to sign the grant agreement with the Oregon Water Resources Department. I have not had an update since then, but they do have it on their person. They just haven't signed it yet. I'm not aware of them signing it, but I did meet with Ron Chandler, the city manager, to have a discussion about that.
Because they have put money into it, whether we haven't or
We
not.
don't have to put any money in it. We receive benefit to it. It's only $15,000 grant.
So there's no cost to them?
No cost. It's
Okay.
no cost to them as far as I know. They might have a small match.
Because I had somebody call me and ask if we had put anything in, and
We did not put a match to it.
there is no match.
We receive all the benefits.
Okay. All right.
Are you still on that water council? So that may be something, we may have to have coffee with Rick and see if we can find something out. Okay. Any other business? If not, we'll take a short break and go into executive session. Give you 3 or 4 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
It was Ron, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll work with the temple.
The temple
thing.
What do you do with it? I wonder?
It's a spread.
It's a spread.
We'll go.
Okay.
We're ready then, Colby?
Yes, sir.
The city council convened an executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660I to review and evaluate the employment related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, public officer. And then it goes and talks about news media. So, executive session. Is there anything else?
Well, I just want to thank Kevin for,
Yeah.
Thank you. Cooperation.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, absolutely.
We wish you
Showing
well.
up like that.
Till the 31st.
Okay, anything else? Meeting adjourned.